So we are going to start the class for today. Yesterday we have discussed about Mukesh. Mukesh, we said that he is a bangle maker. He is from which place? Can anybody tell me? Sabrina, tell me. Mukesh belongs to which place? Sabrina? Mukesh belongs to Firozabad. Firozabad lies in UP district. Firozabad is known for making bangles. It is in Firozabad that people make bangles for all the women in the country. Mukesh has got an ambition in his life. What is ambition? He wanted to become a motor mechanic. He wanted to drive a car. At present, he does not know how to drive a car, but then he says that he will learn to drive a car. Now, traditional job of these people in Firozabad is bangle making, and that is why the grandmother says that bangle making is their karam, that means destiny, karmam. They are not supposed to break that lineage which is handed over to them by their forefathers. The same job that is done by their forefathers, they have to continue even today. They cannot afford to break that particular lineage and try to escape into some other job. But Mukesh is actually showing a courage to break that lineage, and he wanted to become a motor mechanic. Normally, the people who belong to Firozabad and the background of Mukesh does not mind doing this particular job, because from the time of their birth, they do not see anything other than making bangles. Inside the house they see bangle, outside the house in the yard they see bangles. They see people just pushing their four-wheeled cart and then going to the mart to sell the bangles. So wherever they go, they see these bangles only. Therefore, they don't find anything unnatural about just doing this profession of making bangles. We also mentioned yesterday in the class that bangle making is a dangerous job, especially for the young children. We find the parents are also taking the help of the young children in order to make bangles. They are asked to sit in front of the hot furnaces, and then they have to weld these bangles. When they are welding these bangles, what happens? The children just become blind, because the dust which gets separated from the bangles is actually entering their eyes. They become blind before they are grown up. So this was the situation in Firozabad, and this is what we have discussed yesterday. First, we have seen Sahib Alam. He was a rag picker who changed over to taking up a job in a tea shop. He was not happy with the new job, even though he got more money and full meals, because he lost his freedom. Secondly, we came across Mukesh. We have seen his ambition, and he is ambitious and seems that he may realize his dream. Thirdly, we are coming across a third person, a woman, or we can say a girl. She is Savida. She is a young girl. She doesn't know that bangles she helps in making symbolize an Indian woman's suha. So this Savida, she is wearing a drab pink dress. Drab means dull colored pink dress. She is sitting along an elderly woman soldering pieces of glass. Soldering means welding the pieces of glass. I explained yesterday, each bangle has to be welded. And they are sitting along with an elderly woman, mother, grandmother. They are doing the work with their elderly people. How her hands are moving? Her hands are moving just mechanically like the tongs of a machine. Tongs means hands. If you go to a printing press, old printing press, we can find that how this activity of printing is taking place. At present, we have got offset printing presses are there where people used to print. One minute. That is, there is some video problem. That is why, because when I am entering people in between, it is getting cut. You bear with me. So we were talking about the old printing presses. The old printing presses, what happens is that when a notice to be printed, you can see just like a hands, a machine part will come and take the paper and put in the place where the printing takes place. After the printing is over, again that hand will go and take the paper and put in the other place where it is collected. So what does it mean? Her hands are moving like the tongs of a machine, means her hands are moving mechanically, taking an unwelded bangle, welding it and keeping it after welding, means the hands goes on moving. And I wonder if she symbolizes I wonder if she knows the sanctity of the bangle she helps to make. This particular slide in front of you shares the same information. Whether she is actually knowing the importance of the bangles that she just makes, that these bangles are actually symbolizing an Indian woman's suhag. Suhag means marriage. The stage of getting married means, I mentioned earlier, a woman, an Indian woman does not get married without the presence, or rather without decorating herself with bangles in her wrist. So the bangle which she is making with such a difficulty in such a horrible condition is actually used on the occasion of a very beautiful occasion, very important occasion of a woman's just getting into her realization of her dream, that is marriage, the auspiciousness in marriage. Now this marriage just come to an Indian woman all of a sudden. It will dawn on her suddenly one day when her head is draped with a red veil. When you say that an Indian woman getting married, customary differences are there. In India, different custom is there in different area. In Kerala, we have got a certain custom. It is actually basically speaking about the North Indian custom. So what is the North Indian custom? It is said that her head is actually draped with a red veil. The head is covered with a red colored veil. Veil means covering. Her hands are dyed with henna. Her hands are actually dyed, colored with henna, mailanji idum, kallu. And red bangles are rolled into her wrist. Red bangles, normally the bangles that is used at the time of the marriage are red color. Red bangles are actually rolled in her hand. So how a Indian woman turns into a bride, we find that their head is covered with a red veil. Their hands are dyed with henna. Her wrist is actually rolled with red bangles. Then only she will become the bride. This is the outward decoration of a girl decorating herself into a bride. Now, like the old woman beside her who became one many years ago. So this woman who is sitting by the side of this Savida, she was also a bride many years before. She also went through the same process of decorating herself. At that time also she used the bangles. Now also one gets married means she has to use his red bangles. Now what is the idea here? This Savida who is sitting by the side of this elderly woman who is welding these bangles, she does not understand that these bangles are going to be used at the time, the auspicious time of the marriage of an Indian woman. Now this woman who is sitting by the side of this girl, still she has got bangles in her wrist. Why this woman is wearing the bangles in her wrist? Because her husband is still alive. Because in the old Indian culture, a woman does not wear bangle after the death of the husband. So here what happens, she is still having the bangle in her wrist, means her husband is alive. But there is a irony. Bangles are there in her eyes, but there is no light in her eyes. Why there is no light in her eyes? She has become almost blind by doing this work of welding the bangles. They have got a complaint in every home in Firozabad. In Hindi it is given in the lesson. The lesson says that एक वक्त पर खाना भी नहीं खाया, which means she has not even enjoyed one full meal in her entire lifetime. We have to think about ourselves, my dear friends. We do enjoy 2 to 3 meals a day, even more. We are sitting at home and we may be enjoying food. But think about people who are not able to have one square meal a day. ഒരു പ്രാവശ്യം പോലും വയറ് നിറച്ച് ഭക്ഷണം കഴിക്കാനായിട്ട് അവരുടെ ജീവിതത്തിൽ അവർക്ക് സാധിച്ചിട്ടില്ല. That is what she has reaped. Reaped means that is the product of the work that she has got. Even though she was working hard, not even once she could just fill her stomach. Her husband, what about the husband of this old woman who is sitting by the side of Sabita? He is an old man with a flowing beard. He has become very aged. He has got a long beard. He says, I know nothing except the bangles. He does not know anything except the bangles. How to make a bangle, only that he knows. All I have done is to make a house for the family to live in. And again he says that one achievement in his life is that he was able to make a family, a house for the family to live in. Think about the people who are working in different places. What is their ambition in life? They want to grow up, they want to learn, they want to get a job, they want to have a house of their own, they want to get married and settle down in their life, and they want to just help their children to grow and then send them, or just see that they are settled well in life. So entire life of a human being is over when they do all these things. So making a house for themselves to live, for their family to live, is an important work that a human being does in his life. So this fellow was able to build up a house, that he says. So hearing this particular man, one wonders if he has achieved what many have failed in their lifetime. What he has achieved? He could just make a house. So what is the situation in Firozabad? Many people in Firozabad, they failed to make a house even. But here, this old man was able to make a house. He is having a roof over his head. So what we find is that in every house in Firozabad, people have got a similar kind of complaint. What is the complaint? The cry at not having money to do anything except to carry on the business of making bangles. Not even enough to eat rings in every home. Every home is actually ringing with the same complaint. What is that? They are doing the business. What business? Making bangles and selling. When they are selling these bangles, what happened? They are not able to get sufficient money to have food and also save a share of that one in order to continue their business. So what they say, they are telling that they don't have enough money to do anything except to carry on the business of making bangles. That means after making bangles, they sell in the market. Whatever money they get, if they use it for their daily sustenance, then they won't have money to purchase raw materials to produce bangles. Not even enough to eat rings in every home. not even enough to eat. Means because of that they don't have sufficient food. This is a complaint which is coming out from every home in Firozabad. Not only the old have got the complaint, the young men echo the lament of the elders. The young men also have got the same complaint. Little have moved with the time, it seems, in Firozabad. Time has gone, but the situation has not changed. Whatever sufferings suffered by the old people, even in the new generation, is just going on, sharing. The years of mind-numbing toil have killed all the initiative and ability to kill. So here what happens that many years they have worked so hard. They are working years of mind-numbing. Mind-numbing means stupefying. Stupefying means manasine maravipikkunna reethiyillulla toil, hard work. It has killed all their initiative. They are not able to think new things. They cannot start a venture. They have even lost their ability to dream. Not having a dream is a crime. Unless we are able to have a dream, a hope for the future, we won't be able to achieve. But what is the condition of the people in Firozabad? Not only the older people, even the young people, they do not have the ability to take initiative. It has killed all initiative. A new thought to start a new venture. People who don't think differently, they cannot do anything. Mukesh is thinking differently, definitely. He is trying to think differently. But mostly the people in Firozabad, they have killed their initiative by toiling very hard. Their mind have been stupefied. It is made useless, and therefore they are not even able to have any ability to dream. You think about yourself, you have a dream for the future. Why do you sit in the class? Why do you attend my class sitting in your home? Because you want to learn. Why you want to learn? Because you want to get good mark. Why you want to get a good mark? Because you have to plan for your future. You want to have a bright future. You want to get a job. You want to settle yourself in your life. So you have a dream. But here what happened? The people in Firozabad, they have no dream absolutely. They have killed their ability to even dream. So here the author is asking, why not organize yourself into a cooperative? When you are asking these people, why don't you organize yourself into a cooperative? Cooperative store, cooperative hospital, cooperative societies. When you say cooperative, it means that it runs with the cooperation of the people. Why the author is asking that, why don't you organize into cooperative? She is asking a group of young men who have been trapped or fallen into the vicious circle of the middlemen who trapped their fathers and their forefathers. The world of bangle makers are the world of poverty. They have been exploited by the middleman. Who is the middleman? These people are making bangles and they are not going and selling this one to the customers, or they are not selling in the market directly. What happens? Some rich people who have money will come and take all these bangles and they will sell to the customers. So what happens? These rich people who have got the money, they become the middleman. So they don't get exactly the money that is obtained by the middleman. They don't get whatever is right for them to get. So their labor is getting wasted. They get less money, the middlemen make a lot of money. And that is why Anis Jung is asking to a group of men, why don't you organize yourself into a cooperative? You understand the working of the cooperative very well. We find outside there are stores are there which are cooperative store. If you go and inquire, you will find that they don't take too much of profit. They take only minimum profit for running that shop. And whatever profit is there, it will be divided equally among the members who organize themselves in order to have that particular shop or particular hospital or particular whatever organization they are running. So this is cooperative. So what Anish Jin is suggesting, all your bangles can be collected by a cooperative society. Then it can be sold. Whatever money you get, it can be divided and given to the people who are making bangles. This is her suggestion. Now how does they respond to this suggestion? This group of men say, even if we get organized, we are the one who will be hauled up by the police, beaten and dragged to jail or doing something illegal. They are afraid. Why are they afraid? They say that we'll be found fault with the people who are in power. We'll be found fault with the people who just impose law, the policemen, the bureaucrats, the middlemen. So they say that even if we get organized, they are not organized at all. They don't have any union. They don't have any leader. But even then, even if we get organized, we are the one who will be hauled. Hauled means pulled. We will be pulled by the police. We will be dragged and beaten to the jail. And as if we have done something illegal. Now, you should go back to our Indian Constitution. Indian Constitution gives every Indian citizen the right to organize themselves. They can organize themselves into any kind of group which does not hinder the right of the society. You can organize into religious group, you can organize into political groups, you can organize into cooperative societies. It is the liberty, it is the fundamental right of a citizen. But what happened? The people in Firozabad, they don't have the right to organize themselves because people in power will use the power of the police and they will be beaten, they will be punished, they will be dragged, they will be pulled and put into jail as if they have done something wrong. But actually organizing themselves into a cooperative is not doing something wrong. It is right only. It is their birthright, we can say, to organize into a cooperative. But they are afraid because the middlemen will use the support of the police to put them down. Because if they organize themselves, what will happen? The middlemen will not get money. There is another complaint which they have got. They say that we don't have a leader among us. A leader. The importance of a leader. Who is a leader, for example? Can you tell me who is a leader? A leader is a person who is leading his followers. A leader is a person who is able to think differently. When everybody in Firozabad is thinking about making bangles, only bangles, Mukesh started thinking, why not I become a mechanic? He can become a leader. He is a person who is thinking differently from others. A leader is not a person who supports all the views of the followers. He should look after the welfare of the followers. The followers, if they are wrong, he should be able to inspire with his ideas the followers so that the welfare of the followers will be looked up. So now if everybody is thinking in the same way, there will be no leader. A person who thinks differently is supposed to be the leader. So here, everybody is afraid. They say that we don't have a leader. During the Indian War of Independence, we had Gandhiji, we had Subhash Chandra Bose, and we have got hundreds and hundreds of people who just stood in the forefront and led people. Our institution has got a leader. Our organization has got a leader. Every political party has got a leader. Because there is a centralization of power, centralization of taking decision. If everybody's responsibility, it is nobody's responsibility. So that is why they say that we don't have a leader among us to guide us. There is no leader among them, no one who could help them see things differently. There is nobody who can just help us to think differently. Thinking differently means who will just make us think that a cooperative society is necessary. These middlemen are exploiting us. Let us think about something differently. Somebody has to put that idea into the mind of the people. All the people won't think same at the same time. Their fathers are as tired as they are. How their fathers are tired, the same way they are also tired. They talk endlessly in the spirals that moves from poverty to apathy, to greed and to injustice. The young people are tired. At the same time, their fathers are also as tired as the young people. What do they talk? They talk about poverty. They are moving from poverty to apathy. Apathy. What is apathy? Sympathy and apathy. Apathy means indifference. Indifference means not cooperative. Whatever happens, let it happen like that. If no money, no money. No work, no work. If the country doesn't go well, it doesn't go well. People are doing injustice, let them do. I am not bothered. So this is indifference. Indifference is the apathy, is the greatest enemy of or democracy. A democracy functions when every citizen is actually sympathetic and when he joins with other people to work for the welfare of the country. So what happened? The people in Firozabad, since they are poor, they move from poverty to indifferent. They feel that we are poor people, we cannot make any change. We are not important, we cannot do anything. So they are moving from poverty to injustice, poverty to indifference, and then greed to injustice. Whose greed? Greed of the middleman, greed of the policeman, greed of the money lenders who exploit them. So it is their greed, and as a result, what happened? Injustice is done to the people in Firozabad. Just talking to them, Anis Jung says that she is able to see two worlds. രണ്ട് ലോകത്തെ കാണാനായിട്ട് സാധിക്കുന്നു. When she is talking to this young man Firozabad, she says that she is able to see two worlds. What are the two worlds Anis Jung is able to see? The one is the world of bangle makers caught in the web of poverty. The two world, out of the two world, one is the world of the bangle makers caught in the web of poverty. Web means net. Net means wala. In Malayalam we say wala. They have been caught in the web of poverty. Means they are not able to come out from the web of poverty. You see the picture on the left side on the screen. They have been caught on the web of poverty. What is the other world? The other world is the world of money lenders. Who is money lender? Money lender is a person who is giving money in advance to the farmers or this bangle makers, and when they make bangles, they have to give all these bangles to the money lender, or they have to give more money than what they have taken, interest. So what happens? They are not able to save anything. And the middleman, the people who are standing between their work and between this bangle makers and the customer, middleman, and the policeman who exploit and torment them. So here Anis Jung is speaking about two distant worlds. One of the family caught in the web of poverty. They are already poor. They are overburdened by the stigma of caste in which they are born. Stigma. What will be stigma? Disgrace. എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് അവര് ജനിച്ചത് ഈ കാസ്റ്റിലായതുകൊണ്ട് അതൊരു ഡിസ്ഗ്രേസ് ആയിത്തീരുന്നു. It is not a choice of a person to take birth in a particular family or particular caste. It happens. So here what they say is that they are poor. That poor itself is a burden, and again they are overburdened because they belong to this particular caste which makes bangles. The stigma, the disgrace means shabam, disgrace of caste in which they are born. And what is the other world? The other world, as you see on the screen, the other a vicious circle or shaukas. Vicious means a dangerous circle. The lesson says dangerous circle. Dangerous means once if you get into that, you will not be able to get out. You go to the bank, and then borrow money for let's say agriculture purpose. Invest that money on agriculture. Harvest is taken and you have to return that money to the bank. You are supposed to get something. What happened? The nature was not very cooperative. Because of that you had a very poor harvest, poor grain, and whatever you got you sold and you are given to the bank, and you are not able to pay back the entire amount with the interest. So what happens is that it is getting lengthened. You are not able to get out of your debt. So next year also you do the same thing. So you continue. You are not able to escape from that particular net which is created there. So the fathers have become debtor to the bank. The children also continue the same. So it is a vicious, a dangerous debt. You go to the money lender, you take money, and you will find that you are never able to pay back his principal amount, because the interest goes on increasing. So once if you take the money, then you continue to be a customer. Continuously you have to turn to him. This is a vicious circle. Vicious circle of shaukas. Shaukas means officials. The middleman, the policeman, the keepers of law, the people who are keeping the law, the bureaucrats, government officials, bureaucrats, bureaucracy, the people who are getting government money as their salary and working for the people who sit in different offices, bureaucrats, and they are supposed to help people, but are they helping? We have to find out. And the politicians. So we see the world, two different worlds. One is the poor world of the people who are living in poverty, and at the same time they are overburdened by the disgrace of the disgrace of caste in which they are born. And other world, the world of the fortunate people, the rich people, the money lenders, the middlemen, the policemen, the keepers of law, and the politicians. Together they have imposed the baggage on the child. Together means who are the people together put in this bag the burden on the child's head. It is the shaukas, the middlemen, the policemen, the keepers of law, bureaucrats and politicians. Together they have imposed the baggage on the child that he cannot put down, and because of that he cannot put down that bag. The moment that he takes birth, that weight is on his head. He cannot just remove that from his head. Before he is aware, he accepts it as naturally as his father. So when a child is born, naturally the burden of caste, the burden of poverty comes on his head, and because of that he feels that it is quite natural with him. It was natural with the father. How they have accepted, they also accepted. To do anything else would mean to dare. If anybody says that I won't do this job is not meant for me, even though I am born in this particular caste, it means to dare. Dare means showing undue courage, unnecessary courage, ആവശ്യമില്ലാത്ത ധൈര്യം കാണിക്കുക, going away against convention. And daring is not part of his growing up. Daring, showing unnecessary courage is not part of growing up. Who is a good student? Who is a good child? Who is a good son and a daughter? Father and mother, whatever he or she says, who obeys is a good boy or a good girl. Everybody likes people who are very obedient. People don't like who are not obedient. Daring, showing courage, asking questions, revolting. This is not a part of growing up. That is what grown-up people say. Unless you revolt, here, just like Mukesh, you cannot achieve, you cannot come out from the web of poverty. And daring is not part of his growing up. When I sense a flash of it in Mukesh, I am cheered. So the narrator says that I can see a small flash of courage, little bit of courage, a speck of courage in Mukesh. I'm happy. Why? Anis Jung says I'm happy to see that Mukesh has got little courage, because he says that I want to become a motor mechanic. And Anis Jung is happy. Why? Because she is working for the welfare of the downtrodden. She wanted to see that poor people should be brought up to the level of the privileged type of people. Mukesh says, I want to be a motor mechanic. He repeats. He repeats that I want to be a motor mechanic. This is the flash that Anis Jung sees in Mukesh. And she says that she is happy to see that Mukesh thinks differently. How he will become a motor mechanic? He will go to a garage and learn. He cannot go to a technical school, polytechnic, or an engineering college and study motor mechanism, because he does not have that base, he doesn't have the money, that opportunity is not before him. Then how will he learn? He will go to a garage in a long way from his home. He will go to a garage and learn, and garage is not nearby, it is far away. When the school is far away, we have to walk and go. We have to travel by vehicle. And we may be saying that it is far away, how can I go and learn? But here, what happens is that he says that even though the garage is far away from home, he will just walk to that garage and learn. I will walk, he insists. Do you also dream of flying a plane? He is suddenly silent. No, he says, staring at the ground. In a small murmur, there is an embarrassment that has not yet turned into regret. He is content to dream of cars that he sees hurtling down the streets of his town. Few aeroplanes fly over Firozabad. So this idea, make it very clear in your mind. Mukesh wants to become a car driver. He is content to dream of cars and not of planes. Anis Jung is asking, do you like to fly planes also? A car driver, definitely he may be feeling that why not I fly a plane, because it goes in the sky. It is a little more standard one. But he says that no, I don't have that ambition. Again, his ambition is limited to the resources that is available to him. He says that he does not have the ambition to fly a plane. He doesn't want to become a pilot. He wanted to become a car driver. He was just staring to the ground. Why he is staring to the ground? Because he says that I want to remain on the ground. I don't want to go to that much height, because probably he thinks that it is beyond his reach. Sahib Alam just standing outside that tennis court. He is happy to watch the game. He doesn't want to play that game because he feels that the game is beyond his reach. Mukesh, he says that I can become a car driver, but to become a pilot, it is beyond his reach. No, he says, staring at the ground. In a small murmur, there is an embarrassment that has not yet turned into regret. When he says, no, I don't want to fly a plane, the author says that in that murmur there is an embarrassment. Embarrassment means feeling uneasiness. He was feeling little uneasy, that not yet turned into regret. It turns into regret when he grows up. Now he is a young fellow only. When he grows up, when he finds that people of his category is just reaching heights, he may have a regret. Why not I have done? Why I did not do? Why situation was not favorable to him? Who are responsible for that? And he will feel like taking revenge on those people. At present, he is content to dream of cars that is hurtling down the streets of his town. Few aeroplanes fly over Firozabad. So at present, he is happy. At present, he is happy to drive the car which he sees just hurtling. Hurtling means moving very fast down in the streets of Firozabad, and he gives an explanation that I don't find many aeroplanes flying in front of my above my house or above Firozabad. Please be on line.